Hello and welcome to episode 294 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now today's episode is a live recording from my most recent live podcast at the ArcTanGent Music Festival in Bristol from only a couple of weeks ago. I had a slot on the Saturday morning live with Mark and Me, which still blows my mind, and I got to choose an amazing guest. So joining me on today's episode is the amazing Damien from the awesome band, the St Pierre Snake Invasion. This festival is one of my highlights of the whole summer. I've had such a manic festival summer, so many different places to go, so many bands to interview, but during my time at 2000 Trees was the first time I met Damien. He was one of my favourite interviews I've done all year, so it was a no-brainer to get him back and do it this time in front of a live audience. Now, just before I do share this episode, annoyingly, the start was cut off. So the guys that were running the sound desk did a great job at the whole of the festival, but unfortunately didn't switch this on to record at the right point. So it does start about 6 minutes in. All you've missed is me coming on stage and introducing myself, talking about the podcast, and then giving a big build-up for my guest, him coming on, quite a lot of cheering, and then it kind of kicks in. So I do apologise, but I'd rather give you something than absolutely nothing. And you do get the rest of the interview, you get some game shows that happen at the end, and I really enjoy being able to share this with people that weren't able to make the festival. I love the festival, and I said it really was one of my highlights of the whole summer. The atmosphere, the people, the bands, it was just beautifully run, and I had an absolute blast, and I really hope I get to return next year. What I want to do now, because I've been talking for quite a long time, is to get straight to the interview, and I think it's really good fun, and I hope that you guys at home enjoy it as much as me. So here's me and Damien from the St Pierre Snake Invasion, recorded live at the ArcTanGent Festival. So what I do on Mark and Me with every guest that's come on, it doesn't matter if they're an actor, a director, a film star, anyone in the band, is I like to take it right back to the very start. So basically, when you're a kid, you maybe had a pocket money from doing a paper round or something like that, but I remember buying my first albums and really treasuring them. I'd be listening to them from front to start. Even if they're shit, I'd be like, I spent 12 quid on this and yeah, they changed my life. But can you remember that first album that you bought that you fell in love with, where you just remember being absolutely obsessed with it?
I was given some tapes by my cousin Chris when I was a kid. I think those were like the three, well, two of those three I really invested in. So one was like Porno Graffiti, is it, by Extreme. Didn't really get into that. Iron Maiden Killers, gave that a spin a lot. And State of Euphoria by Anthrax. But I think the first album I bought with my own money was like a Bon Jovi one, with no shame at all because they've got bangers. But I think it was it might have been Bon Jovi New Jersey. I think that was the first one I bought. Love it.
And do you know what? Fair play. Like, there's some great bangers there. I remember having Extreme, and only everyone would play More Than Words, and that was it. Yeah. And on a tape, that's not easy, getting to that one track and then fucking going again.
I have no idea what other songs are on that album, to be fair. No idea at all.
Live music for me is when it all changed, and that was the reason I wanted to pick up a guitar and be in a band. I never made it or anything, but I always thought that going to see a band when your rib cage kind of shakes when you're watching the band and the hairs on your neck stick up. I was really lucky. I'm 41, so when I was just over 11, at Wolverhampton Wolfram Hall, I got to see Green Day, and they blew my mind. I think it was the Dookie tour, but I couldn't believe that 3 people made that much noise. I was watching Billy Joe Armstrong thinking, there must be another guitarist. I was really young, but it just made me feel like I wish I could do this as a job. Do you have a cool first gig, or is it quite embarrassing? Or?
No, well, I mean, the reason that I bought a Bon Jovi album first is because my mother was a big Bon Jovi fan. And subsequently, I mean, you could say that, you could call it a form of abuse if you want, but she was into Bon Jovi. And so I became into Bon Jovi, and she took me to see them at Cardiff Arms Park when I was about 9, and Van Halen was supporting them, And it was great. I mean, it was half empty. All I remember was being sat at the back and it being half empty. But Van Halen were great and Bon Jovi were great. And I remember, I believe the drummer is called Tico Torres, and he did a thing where they played a song and then the guys walked off and he was like, "Come on, come back," which is obviously a rehearsed bit. I remember thinking that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, and I knew that one day I'd be selling out stadiums and like John Bon Jovi, and in many ways, physically that hasn't happened, but existentially.
Did you go down the whole route of when you wanted to start a band? Did you do it at college and at school with the whole battle of the bands and being in all these bands that just do covers and assemblies and all this sort of stuff?
Yeah, I was in a high school band called I think we called it Vesuvius, the first one, and then I think we changed on it just before we did our first high school gig. We were like, "Man, that's such a terrible name," and I think I grabbed a science book, like a science textbook, and I was like, "I'll just pick a name out of this," and then we picked Manipulating Nature, which is, if I was in that band now, if I would have stuck with that name, I'd probably be higher up the bill here. But it sounds like a band that would do well at ArcTanGent. But yeah, Manipulating Nature. And we used to do covers of Green Day and Nirvana, and I think we did maybe one Oasis song. We were suitably shit. You're meant to be shit at that point, but it was fun. And I knew as soon as I did that first show, I was like, I'm in, I'm done. Subsequently, I went from being like a A-grade student to being in the bottom set for everything, because I was just like, I can't be arsed with this. Revise, I'm going to be a famous musician actually, so fuck you. And look at me now.
So when was the actual point when you stopped doing covers and you actually, as a band, maybe a different band with another name that would sound good at ArcTanGent, started writing songs that you were then, actually maybe we could do something quite serious here?
Well, I'm a, evidently larger than average human being. I'm a 6'2.5", I'm about 16 stone, but I've got the hands of an infant. My hands are fucking tiny, right? I've got size 10 palms and size 3 fingers, and I just have. And so when I was learning to play guitar, I couldn't fucking play lead at all. I neither had the physicality for it nor the inclination to knuckle down and learn. So at a very early age, pretty much as soon as I learned to play guitar, I started writing my own songs, and I'd have a book of lyrics that were fucking dreadful, of course. I moved house recently, and my wife went through our stuff and found a book of lyrics that I'd written when I was like 14 or 15, and naively I thought, it'll be nice to reminisce and have a look, and I nearly cringed the shit out. It was so bad that I just fucking ripped it up and threw it away. But yeah, the enjoyment that I got out of being in a band was playing stuff that I'd written, even though it was awful. And that started very early, literally right at the beginning. So I'm 39, I've been writing songs for longer than I've not been writing songs.
So talk to me obviously about the St Pierre Snake Invasion. Mm-hmm. I struggle with remembering names, even just of people. So I'm always like St Pierre Snake Invasion.
I mean, I was giving some shit here for how this is backwards marketing. I'm not really in any position to be critiquing people with the silliest, longest name of a band. Where you meet people and you're like, oh, what band are you in? The St Pierre Snake Invasion. Like, Snake? Yeah.
So where did this all come about? I don't know the actual full history of the band, so tell me about how it basically started and you guys were like deciding your lineup with which people. You know, how did it all start for you?
So I grew up in Wales, I lived in a place called Rhyl, it used to be a very kind of attractive holiday destination for people in the 70s, 80s, potentially even the early 90s as well. It went downhill quite fast, but that's where I grew up, and there was very little opportunity to be creative. And so I was in a band there, and I stayed there for ages thinking that this band was going to be the one. So I'd moved to West Wales when I was 17 and decided to move back to North Wales to be in this band that I thought, well, like, we're going places here. And we ended up getting a digital release deal with a record label in New York, which you won't be surprised to find out was utter bullshit. It was utter bullshit. And then what happened subsequently is that we were working with a producer. We'd gone from being like this kind of abrasive punk band to turning into like this kind of Franz Ferdinand, Kaiser Chiefs type rip-off. And I was dressed like the Hives on stage, which is not at all what I joined the band to do. But we had, a number of people behind the scenes going like, this is what you need to do. And so we ended up compromising. And that band went nowhere. Split up, I must have been 24, 25. And I had a decision then. Do I go to university or do something else, do an apprenticeship? Or do I move to Bristol and start a band that I wanted to do and make them, in that band I didn't write anything or contribute. So this one was initially just to see if my songs were good enough and to see if the stuff that I'd been writing since I was a kid, whether or not that would come off on stage or in a band. And so I moved to Bristol with a friend. Long story short, very long story short, I met Paddy and Zach actually, and then we've had about 10 different members in 10 years. I imagine because I'm an insufferable prick, but St Pierre was like the antidote to what had happened. I was like, I'm going to go and do something which is completely uncompromising and confrontational and see how it goes and see what happens when you put yourself in an environment where there's an ecosystem of live music and venues. And apart from getting married and having a son, it's the best decision I've ever made. Bristol, for me, I was born in Wales, but Bristol is my home. Bristol is the place that afforded me the opportunity to self-actualize and become what I wanted to be.
And working hard in the band, like you say, it's nearly been 10 years now that you've been going.
I think it's 13 this year.
That's insane. Was there a moment when you felt that this could be it and you could then give up the day job and do was there any a moment or a gig that you actually thought to yourself, maybe this is the point, or has it always just been an uphill struggle where you're always wanting to go up higher on a different lineup, you want to try and get more people, try and see more people buy your record at the end of the night? Does it always feel like a mission?
Yeah, I mean, I naively thought we were going to be massive when we first started. So we uploaded a load of demos to like the BBC Six or BBC Introducing website, and they played a couple of our songs before we'd done a show. And I was like, wow, the hype begins. And then, and then a couple of weeks later, we were played on BBC Six by Tom Robinson. And I was like, yeah, here we go. And then after 10 shows, we were nominated. So we were in the running to play the BBC introducing stage at Reading and Leeds. After actually I think it might have been 5 shows. And so I was like, boys, strap yourself in. We are going. And then then we didn't then we didn't play the introducing. And then it just was 11 years, 12 years of me going, I feel like we're a really good band. I feel like we should be bigger than we are. And everyone else outside of our established fan base were like, no, fuck you. So, but, and I know it is going to sound pretentious, and I am a bit pretentious, so, I'll just lean into it. But, the best thing about being in a band is creating. And the best part of creating in a band is when an idea that you've had comes together in the room. The first time that you play it all together and it clicks. And I can have that moment whenever I want. And I don't need 1,000 people or 500 people or 3,000 people. I don't need that. All of this is just, for me now, and again, it sounds pretentious, but I'm being honest. Playing shows, to me, is secondary to that moment. That initial moment where you get butterflies in your stomach and you feel warm, you have tingles up your spine because this idea that you've had works and everyone loves it in the room. And that, to me, is is my success. I say this knowing that if I was in a band that were bigger, I wouldn't be saying that. The answer would be, yeah, it's great to go and play in Australia and shit like that. But seriously, all jokes aside, it's that's my currency. Just being able to make music is the reward.
I noticed, and we spoke at 2000 Trees I felt it was quite an in-depth conversation. We got quite deep about mental health and the way we've been in the past and how we've changed, and you becoming a father has changed your life dramatically. But I noticed when I came to see your set yesterday, you were always very harsh on yourself. You're like, I'm an absolute fucking prick. I've spent the last 10 years being a prick. Mm-hmm. But you have said that you've identified that and you've worked on it, and there's the moment in your life when you became a father, something changed. And is that now that you just want him to see you as a completely better person and not the person you've been up to this point?
Yeah, I think, I can't speak for everyone I can't speak for the entire species and say that, everyone does this when they know that they're going to become a parent. But knowing that I was going to have a son made me think about what type of person I wanted him to be and what type of lessons, what things about me would he observe that would lead him to become a decent person. And because of, low self-esteem, I, for the majority of my life, lacked humility. So I would constantly talk myself up, tell people that I was a genius, tell people that I was there's a line in rock and roll workshops which is, save your breath, leave your wings in the bedroom, no one here dies a legend tonight. And that line, I used to tell people, I would go up to people in pubs and fucking look them dead in the eye and say, I will die a legend. This is how convicted I am in what I'm doing. I will fucking die a legend. And the reason I was doing that was because I was afraid of how fucking normal and boring and how unexceptional I was. And so I was arrogant and arrogant. Painfully so. I've said and done, one of my friends is in a very successful band, and I watch them get successful, and I once told him that I deserved it more than him, which is a fucking disgusting thing to do, and it fills me with shame. And so it was those sort of things that kind of made me think, do I want my son to be that? Does he need to see that? Do you need to be like that? So, it made me reflect. And so all the lessons that I had to give him as a dad were lessons that I had to learn myself, which is no one cares. You can't just fucking big yourself up like that. You have to be humble. You have to be, you have to give people time. You have to create space for other people. You have to listen more. You have to just let go of yourself because you're not important. And all of those things are, things and themes on the album. And they're important, And I have, without doubt, in the last 2.5 years, become a better person because of my son.
Sorry to be so deep for about 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, fucking hell.
Usually I'd be still up talking this
Yes.
to people in a kitchen somewhere, but so it's nice that we're doing this over a coffee and some water. So.
But are you now kind of content with where you are? So to be playing at ArcTanGent, 2,000 Trees, people know your name, just about remember how to say it. Your logo makes sense, you can work it out. Oh, it's that band now. Your reviews for the album that's just dropped, your latest album, we're all fucking glowing. It's a fucking unbelievable album. The production's brilliant. It's got the raw sound that when you actually come and see you live, it's the same band. It's not like 20 overdubs on the guitar and then it sounds weak as shit. You must be happy with the important people telling you that you're a good band.
Yeah. I mean, I just said the most important thing about making music is that moment, and it is. But only dickheads say that they don't care. Only that what people think of their music. Only posers are saying I'm doing this for me and only me, and it doesn't matter what people think. There's an element of that for sure, which is if you like this, amazing. If you don't like it, it's not for you. As long as I like it, and I'm convicted in the knowledge that it's good, then you can, that's important. But I am happy with where we are. I'm happy with what we're doing. I would fucking love to play to more people. I would, I don't feel like I'm not going to get punk rock points for saying I'm happy to go to fucking, I don't know, Stoke-on-Trent on a Wednesday and play to fucking 10 people. I don't feel, no offense to Stoke-on-Trent, but that's not I've been doing this long enough. I feel like I've paid my dues. I've paid enough fucking shows to nobody. But when we still do those shows, and there are people there, fuck me, 10 people. I was speaking to someone in the bar last night, 2 guys, Henning and Ford, I think their names were, from fucking Norway, from Oslo. And they were like, yeah, we love your band. And I was like, what the fuck, man? Do you know what I mean? I'm from a shithole in the valleys, and there are 2 people who have flown here from a different country who are aware of the creative output, the art that I've put into the world. It's fucking incredible. So if this is the level, if we've reached our ceiling, I'd be sad. I would love us to go further afield. But if we don't, fuck me, this is, I'm on stage talking to you. That's enough. It is enough for me. It's enough, yeah, for sure.
It doesn't get much worse, does it? It's I'm on stage talking to you.
No, I meant that in a good way.
I'm joking,
in a really good way.
I appreciate that.
In a really good way. Any. I talked about being, trying to be more humble and less egocentric. But I'm fucking telling you now, apart from like people with crippling anxiety and who are inherently introverted, almost every single musician at this fucking festival would love the opportunity to talk about their music, you know? Like we are at our very, in our very nature is to be like, oh yeah, the creative process, darling. You know, we want to talk about, like, like there's something uniquely, something kind of unique to a process. We're all kind of, little ego bastards, but I would never for a second imagine the fact that there are people here listening to me talk about this is fucking mental to me. And there's not 300 people here. I'm not getting as many laughs as I deserve, perhaps, but it's crazy, and I love it. Like I love it, and if this is the ceiling, then what have you?
Something that always kind of baffles me is when you're ready to go on. Was that your wedding ring?
Don't tell my wife that.
Fucking hell. I'll edit that.
Yeah. That is the threat often. She'd be like, Damien, what are we going to do today? And I'd be like, whatever you want. And she'd be like, I want to go and do this. And I'd be like, I don't know about that. Yeah.
But before you go on stage, and if you are feeling that anxiety or that crippling stomach of just fucking hell, imposter syndrome, I'm not sure if we should be here, I don't know if this is fucking happening. How do you put the mask on and switch it on that then you become the entertainer? Because you had a lot of people in that tent. It was a busy tent. It was a good atmosphere. If you're not feeling it, how the fuck do you kind of fake yourself through a good 40-minute set?
Yeah, I don't get nervous before shows, like whatever the size. I get nervous about people not being at the show. That's kind of like, that's it. I'm like, fuck, is there going to be no one here? But like, if the way it works in my brain is 1,000 people looking at me. Yes, please. But there are times where you're tired and you're run down, you're hungry, you've not had time to eat, or you're just you don't want to be playing a show. You'd rather be doing anything else. Because as I've said, like playing shows to me is a byproduct of making an album. Sometimes I just don't want to be doing it. But there are people who have come to see you and they're invested in some way. They have invested in your music, either tangibly, fiscally, or existentially. They are there because in some way they've connected to something that you've written. And those people deserve to see me deliver and us deliver the songs in the manner in which they were written, which is to convey the message. And I said, hang on, let me fucking retract that. There is no message. There's no message with the band, but there are ruminations within the lyrics that I hope people connect to. And a lot of them need to be delivered with much gusto and venom, and they need to be delivered in a way that hits people. And so whenever I'm feeling tired or like I can't be asked, I have to remind myself that it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about the people there. And so you can't fucking half-ass it. Like, you have to just fucking do it because it's not about you.
I've got a game show to do, which is a completely different tone and context to everything we've done, but I just wanted to have some fun in the morning and get people up.
Yeah, I'm sorry for going fucking well in there.
No, it's all good. It's good.
Like, see a couple of people crying in the back. Yeah. Oh my God.
Have a great day.
Yeah. It's just meant to be fun. He's usually funny on stage.
Yeah, he's really lively.
He's just going in and depressing the lives out of us. But enjoy your Saturdays. So.
Yes. What we'll do is, I've grown up in the 80s and 90s, so I've done 10 theme tunes from classic TV shows, completely out of context to anything of this podcast, but fuck it. And to win prizes, which I've been brought today, and I've got some really classic old school sweets, which people might remember if they're my sort of age. I'm hoping most people at this festival are my sort of age, so it makes sense. But there's stuff like popping candy, which is... Anyone remember popping candy? I love that popping candy got a bigger shout out than this fucking podcast. Stuff like Hubba Bubba. It's all in date as well. Love Hearts. These little classic burgers. Do you remember these? You can still get them in real. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the theme tune, and then it's basically the fastest hand to go up to then win the prize. But Damien, I need you to be the judge because there's so many people to try and...
You want me to judge people?
Judge.
We've just talked about that. I'm judging. Up. Everyone look at James Scarlett. There's the organiser of the festival. Give him the finger, you big useless DOS fuck.
There's your festival slot gone next year. Brilliant. So the first one, I hope this plays through the actual PA. Again, if one of you can put your hand up really quickly, that would be great. So the first one.
Young man there in the chair, you were first.
I see a hand. Incredible. Do you want to come up and get yourself a prize and everyone else clap for that amazing award? Crazy Dips Lollipop.
Well done, sir.
Number 2. I see a hand at the back. Did you say bully? Bullseye. Incredible. Look what you could have won.
3.
Well done.
5.
Fucking bubblegums. Sorry.
Good cut, sir.
Okay, brilliant.
No one was watching.
Number 3.
Got it.
Anyone in the crowd? Ben. Incredible.
Correct. It says it in the fucking name. Yeah.
You can have, because I know you. No, they're not called love hearts. They're called kind hearts. And some Hubba Bubba. Give it up for Ben.
Well done, Ben. You literally listened and said the name that was in the song. Well done.
Little shameless plug. Ben is in a podcast that I used to do, which was called Skip to the End. Anyone ever heard Skip to the End movie podcast? That's what I like. Listen to us. We did 5 years worth of podcasts, 12 million downloads. It was a lot of fun. And there were prizes to be won. Next one.
Oh, straight in there. Look at that. Yes.
Incredible. More claps, please, people.
Well done. That was quick, sir.
You get a snake winder.
Oh, good on.
Oh, security, can you...
Oh, God.
That'd be brilliant, thank you.
Thank you.
The next one we have up. Thank you, dude.
Hello, we've got a...
Let it play out.
We've got one. This man here knows it.
Go on, my friend. Say again? It is Mask. Wow. Incredible. That was a great theme tune.
Yeah, I did not know that one. Fair dues.
You get a melody pop and a Chubba Chub Sticks. No expense spared here. Thank you. Did anyone watch Mask, and is it just me? Yeah, it was all right.
For there is always something down there.
Oh, yeah.
Dark.
Let's let this play.
To come out.
Again.
You're a fool if you dare.
Whose hand was quickest?
Well, I can't see. Let me stand up because I feel like I'm getting a...
Guy with the baseball cap. who's got his...
I saw you first. You might have been first, but I was hindered by this edifice.
The guy with the backwards baseball cap.
It said the name of the program twice. If you don't say trapdoor, you fucked it. It's trapdoor. Who'd have thought?
You can have the little burger and the popping candy. Massive round of applause. This will sound so good on the episode. This one's pretty tough.
Go. Oh, mate. My man at the back there. My man at the back.
Incredible. Massive round of applause.
What is it?
Count Dracula.
Oh.
Or Duckula.
Dracula, right.
I'm running out of sweets. I think I got it right. You get a Chubba Chubs sticks and a candy can. Hey? Amazing. He's actually got a tattoo of that theme tune, not actually the music score.
I think that's technically cheating, sir. Sweets back. Send back.
I think we've got a couple more.
Is that fuck? My man.
Incredible. That's the guy with the backwards baseball cap.
He's got all of them, to be fair. I've been sat behind this thing. He's had his hand up, everyone. I've not been able to see him. Well done, you deserve this, my friend.
Popping candy and another sticks.
Is that the fucking sound system from over there? It's loud as fuck.
I know. I'm going to have to edit all that out. I think there's two more.
All your scoundrels, all your villains, Sharky moves fast and is not getting. Gangsters, hoodlums, thugs and robbers. George gets there and crime gets clobbered. Sharky and George, the crime monsters of the sea. Sharky and George, we run heavy.
Hello. You, sir.
Incredible. How did you guess that? Have you won twice now? You've got some Bazooka Rattlers Sours.
I've never heard of that program in my life.
Never?
Never. Sharky and George, wow.
Now, this is when it gets really fucking serious, okay? So this is the last one, but let's look at this prize, right? You got, oh shit, yeah, there, hang on. You've got some Roller Belter,
Nice.
which is like a cheap knockoff spa version of those fizzy felts, but Sugar Money. It's actually called Funny Money, but it's just pure sugar money. This is the big one. I want to go out on a high.
Fucking hell, mate. What the fuck?
Who wants to win the £500 of sugar money and the Roller Belter?
I feel like you had your hand up first, but then you put your hand up.
We could split
And I'm a bit torn here, so you probably... I think it's only right that you fight to the death. No.
Should we let them have one each?
Well, yeah, give them one.
Yeah,
each.
one
Fuck
each.
it, why not?
Massive round of applause.
Well
for
done,
these two.
guys.
I knew we should have just done this for an hour.
Yeah. So you did save the best till last as well. Thundercats is the best 80s cartoon, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I would agree. I would agree with myself.
Have you gone further away?
I did because I couldn't fucking see anyone.
Oh, that's all right then. So
You know, and you give me a job of looking at people. I couldn't see people, so but I will come back. Don't worry. I'll come back.
it's that moment now when the podcast is coming to an end.
But seriously, listen. I've got another hour before I get picked up. So if you want me to just talk at you, talk absolute shit at you for an hour, just come and grab me.
Buy me whiskey.
Don't buy me whiskey, please.
But what I do on the podcast, and I've done it for every single episode, ever since day one when I launched with Kevin Smith literally 6 years ago, is I ask every guest that comes on the podcast to choose the outro piece of music. So as soon as the interview's all done, edited and wrapped up for the world to listen to, the final piece of music that's played on every single episode is different. Now, I've had some arseholes come on and pick a 22-minute Yoko Ono B-side. I'm not taking the piss. And the interview is...
What was the name of that song? Just
fucking...
out of curiosity.
It's fucking wank. And it's 22 minutes long, and it's an instrumental of her just clapping and probably just wanking off John Lennon, and it sounded wank.
Don't pick that one. Don't pick that one. Don't pick that one.
So, what I want to do on today's episode, even though it's live, is then when it all plays out at the very end, and I'll use my intro music and make it all sound great, when it finally plays out, you get to choose the song, but I didn't prep you for this. So what I want to know is a song that means a lot to you, that comes from the heart and soul, that once this is all done, it plays, and you feel it's your personal choice. No pressure.
So, listen, I got to sleep about 3 o'clock last night, and I told everyone on stage that if they saw me to buy me a whiskey, and to be fair, a lot of people did do that, because I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear. What I'm doing here is I'm preparing you for my answer, which might lead to me welling up a little bit, because I'm in a bit of a bit worse for wear. But I would pick You Were Made For Me by Freddie and the Dreamers. And I'm already going, I can feel it. Because that is the song that I sung to my unborn son in my wife's belly. And it's a song that I sing to him to get him to sleep. And it's a song that in the first song on the album, I say, You Were Made For Me. And yeah, it's about my son, and that's him. It's about. When I hear that song, I think about him. And yeah, and so when we did the album launch, that was the song that we walked onto, and I was crying like a teenage schoolgirl at a Take That concert.
I feel like now I should play the theme tune to Sharky and George again to lift everyone up a bit.
Just stop it, yeah. Like, do you know what? It's mental how emotional I get thinking about that little ginger dwarf. It's fucking crazy. But, yeah.
What a song choice. I wasn't expecting that.
And if you don't know that song, it's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's really upbeat. But beautiful as well. Yeah. I would recommend that you listen to it and drink it in, because it's a celebration. It's a beautiful song.
And the final one for a bit of promotion, I hear you might have some UK shows that you can talk about, so if anyone here wants to come and see you play and not cry on stage.
I mean, fucking hell. I mean, you know, I cry more than any man you've ever met in your entire life, and you can ask my bandmates, like we were talking about like the moment where the thing in, you know, the idea comes together in the rehearsal room, and I have cried when that's happened. I've been like, oh my God. But we are going out on tour in November. The places I can't tell you. I know we're playing a show in Worcester soon, so if you live in or near Worcester, look out. I think we're doing Cardiff, Milton Keynes, Huddersfield, some other places, and then we're playing London at a festival at the New Cross Inn, and then we're probably going to do a big show in Bristol as well. Marty, you're only an hour late, but that's fine.
That's an entrance.
Have you been to bed? Yeah? Good lad. This is Marty, by the way. Let me tell you a story very quickly about Marty. The first time I met him, we did MDMA together in Nottingham, in Derby, and it was 4 a.m, and I was sat on a couch with him, and there was an Easter egg on his telly, And he was talking to me and he went, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Damien, there's a severed head." And I was like, it's an Easter egg, right? He's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ." And then he went, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Damien, there's a witch." And there was a fucking broom in the corner. But let me tell you, that night I said to him, the first night I met him, I said, "You and I are going to be friends forever." And we are. I love that boy so much. He's an endless pain in my arse, but also a beautiful human being. He's in a band called A Tota So. You should check them out. They're fucking brilliant. But, yeah. What a guy.
I want to see in a few hours him shouting like, "Fucking hell, there's a fucking car."
It was honestly the funniest thing ever. "Jesus Christ, Damien, there's a witch."
Literally, we have 30 seconds left, so what I'd love everyone to do is check out the podcast again. It's on markandme.com, it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. There's nearly 300 episodes on there with everyone from all different walks of life. But today it's not about me, it's about Damien, and a massive shout out for coming on, getting
It's about the festival. This is a beautiful festival.
That too.
And everyone who comes here is amazing. All of the organisers are great, and James Scarlett. So, oh shit, there he is.
Yes.
Sorry. They're just the best people in the world, and James, so.
It is. So a massive shout out to ArcTanGent. Thank you for giving me this space, and it means the world. I hope to come back next year, and let's just have a massive round of applause for everyone. So
yeah,
thank you so much, everybody.
Well done, team.
That is it.
Yes.
So there it is. There's my interview with me and the amazing Damien from St Pierre Snake Invasion. One of my favourite bands, an amazing album they brought out, honestly, go and check it out. And their live show was one that everyone was talking about at the festival, just mind-blowing. But as a guest, I thought he nailed it. He was funny, very open, very honest, really let his guard down and really shared a lot of deep and meaningful moments of his life. And I think to do that in front of a tent full of people is a big thing. I also want to say a massive thank you as well now to ArcTanGent Festival. Those guys were so good to let me host a live podcast. It was a great turnout. I had a really good time. And I'm so glad I've been able to record it for anyone that wasn't able to go to the festival. But what I will say is if you haven't gone to this festival, get your tickets for next year. I've not been paid to say this. It's one of the best festivals of the whole summer. It's beautiful. It feels like one big family, and so much thought and organisation goes into it, and you feel like something is really magical in the air the whole time you're there. So do it, and I'll hopefully be there as well next year, and we'll all have beers together and watch some of the best bands out there all weekend. Also, if you're new to Mark and Me and you're only listening now for the first time because of this, please take this time to dive deep, and there's 293 other episodes for you guys to listen to. With Mark and Me, there isn't anyone from any certain genre that comes on this podcast. It's literally open to anyone. All different people from all different walks of life. There's actors, producers, directors, artists, musicians, bands, you name it. There's such a variety of guests, and I really hope there's something for everyone. So if you are new, please let me know. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. It means the world. And as always, this podcast will always remain free, but what I do ask in return is just to share it. It really goes a long way, gets the name of Mark and Me out there, and it's the only way that I can market this podcast. I don't make money from this podcast. I do it for the love of it and for the passion, but what I do ask in return is please share it, because it goes a massive way. Also, please, if you really want to go that extra mile, I do have a Patreon page, so this podcast does cost money to put out there. I have to take up a lot of bandwidth every month for people to be able to download it. The numbers are very high, which is a good thing, but it also costs me a lot of money to have it on Amazon and Podomatic and iTunes and all these different directories. So if you can, and go on to patreon.com and search for Mark and Me, or go on markandme.com and click the link. For as little as £1 a month, that supports Mark and Me. You get exclusive episodes, you get some badges when you sign up, some stickers, a newsletter, and so much more. I'll be back in honestly less than 24 hours with another brand new episode, because things have never been so busy, but I'm not complaining, it's awesome. But until then, share this episode, go and listen to bands, enjoy yourself, take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
You were made for me, everybody tells me so. You were made for me, don't pretend that you don't know. All the trees were made for little things that sing and fly, and the sun was made to burn so bright and light. The sky, pretty eyes were never made to cry, they were made to see. When I held you in my arms, I knew that you were made for me. You were made for me, everybody tells me so. You were made for me, don't pretend that you don't know. All the flowers in the fields were made to please the bees. For the fish, yes, someone made the rivers and the seas. Every hand was made to hold another tenderly. When I kissed you on your lips, I knew that you were made for me. You were made for me, everybody tells me so. You were made for me, don't pretend that you don't know. Da 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 da. You were made for me, everybody tells me so. You were made for me, don't pretend that you don't know. Every hand was made to hold another tenderly. When I kissed you on your lips, I knew that you were made, you were made, you were made for